What's up, entrepreneurs? From the cutting room floor, we have stories of the light and dark side of business. So, hopefully, it will not kick me out again in today's show. So, take a quick moment and let me know if you can see me in the chat. We're trying to get Fred also over into this new room. So, let me know if you're watching live, hashtag live. Sometimes things just don't go how you plan them to go, right? Oh, yay! Alejandra says yes, but I don't have Fred yet. So this is just one of those great examples of the life's technology challenges and things not happening quite the way that you had hoped. So I am going to give you guys a couple seconds to get in, and I'm updating some Rebrandly links because we have new links for the show. So I'm going to update those right now while we're getting in. So let me know in the chat if you can see me. Hey, Martin, good to have you. Kelly, great to have you. And I don't know if you guys have had those situations where everything just goes wrong, but that is one of the ones today. So let me see if I can get Fred. And Lily to Fred. But he's the one with all the great stories. So I really want him to hop in here. Why is it not letting him in? Oh, you guys. Anyway, well, and just while we're waiting for Fred to pop in, good. I'm glad, Robert. Good to have you here. Yes, we're talking about some of the light and dark side of business and and really how to take the lessons from it and be able to turn it into something positive. Hey, Vanessa, good to have you. While I'm waiting for Fred to hop over here, I just have to say that we have some amazing partners. I know that Kelly, you're on here, and Sean Reed has been just going to town to build up his followers. We have Zwizzy with Vanessa. So Vanessa's actually launching her product any day now. She's placing a big order, and pretty soon you'll be able to get those. And that's getzwizzy.com, right? Vanessa, let me know if that's getzwizzy.com, I believe. So check it out if you guys, when you have a chance. And hopefully Fred will be here. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you mine from the cutting room floor, which could be plenty that have to do with technology absolutely failing. But Fred's are so much more exciting of stories. So I'm hoping he can pop on and tell us some of his experiences. Happy Labor Day weekend. That's right. It's a long weekend for most of us. So if you are doing anything this weekend, anything fun, let me know in the chat. I know we had a partner who did photos. Oh, Fred's back. Oh, hi, Fred.
Yeah, way to change the link on me.
Well, it's not me. We literally
another waiting room.
We literally had, complete meltdown of our technology that was streaming. So this would be one of those cutting room floor type
It's the first
situations.
story I talk about.
I think this is the dumpster fire that is the show right now. But this is exactly, I was just saying that, Fred, you have some really good stories to tell us. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away.
Well, why don't we start with this one? I mean, sometimes everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And I think tonight, 6 or 7 times try to come back on here. One time, everybody from YouTube could see us, but nobody from Facebook. Another time, this last time, I was left isolated in a waiting room from an old show, apparently, because
we had to abandon ship, and Fred did not get the message about the abandoned ship.
So we're here. Unfortunately, I don't have time to tell any of my stories.
Oh, come on. You got a couple minutes. We got it.
Right. Since we have a couple minutes. First of all, hi, everybody. And thank you for being patient. And anybody who's stuck around long enough to watch this, we appreciate you. What happens to me a lot? I get a lot of messages from people, especially on social media, that, hey, yeah, but you've been there, done that. You have a great life, everything. You're successful, everything's going great for you. How can you relate to an entrepreneur that's just starting out and some of the pain that we have? The reality is that every single thing that I've ever touched has been really, really hard. Every one, and not one of them was this straight open door to success. In fact, there's always more failure than there is success. And it's fine to talk about that and vaguely tell everybody, get back up, run into the wall, run harder. I shouldn't use the making fun voice because that's the type of things I talk about. But the reality is, if you can put some meat on those bones, then people can see that we're all the same. And we all are going to either have gone through or going to have to go through these failures to reach successes. And so I was going to talk about a couple of stories that pertain to me. And I think, and this is one I told before, but I was 24, 25, 25. And I started a concert company called Concerts America. That was my second company. I had a food company before then. And I was in my mid-20s, but I was able to find a couple of people in their 40s that had a bunch of money, and they invested in me. And so we started to do rock concerts all over the East Coast. The only way we could get started is I'd have to offer the bands literally almost twice as much as what the seasoned concert promoters were giving them, because otherwise they're going to work with a pimply inexperienced kid, really, because I was a pretty immature 25-year-old, although it was already second rodeo. And so we got a bunch of bands to come do an outdoor concert in Miami. We had sold some ridiculous amount of tickets for the time, some 20,000 tickets. Steppenwolf was there, a couple of other really big bands in the time. Steppenwolf was one of probably the number one or two band then, because they had some real big hits that had come out one after the other. We had an open air concert at Miami Baseball Stadium, or park, I guess they call it, a field, whatever they call them. 16 inches of rain that night. 16 inches. 16, which is almost double what we get here in San Diego in a year. And it was this much all over the ground, that much water. I couldn't let anybody in, and literally spent the whole night. We didn't have internet then. Spent the whole night going on radio station after radio station live, talking about the event and when we were going to do a makeup. Meanwhile, negotiating with the bands and their managers. I got 4 out of 5 bands to stay, but I had to pay them the double that I had paid them already to be there for the first night. And that next afternoon, all sunny and everything dried off in Miami, we had our concert. But out of the 20,000 tickets that were sold, something like 8,000 people came, and I had to give 12,000 refunds back. I had to work with the bands, pay them extra. Turns out that I ended up losing about $60,000, which in today's dollars is probably $600,000. That was my very first concert in Concerts America. And suicidal moments for sure, not really, but that type of horror and pain. And I picked myself up and started calling favors from these same booking agents who had, Tessa, we can hear you typing, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Got pointed out to me last week for the first time in 3 years. But in any event, I started calling favors from booking agents, and we were able to start getting better and better deals and dealing with bigger and bigger bands. And so we ended up turning it into a success. But it was a horrifying failure up front. And of course, the investors were not happy at all, and I had to deal with that type of stuff. But that was a situation that was really, really awful for me. And I didn't know whether I could go to do the next concert. I didn't know whether I would get funded to do the next one.
We lost your audio for a second there. Are you back? Okay.
You have a lot of noise in the background.
I know, it's crazy. I think just, technology world is like, Tessa, you need to just stop now. No. Can you hear okay, though?
I can hear okay now.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to ask you, you mentioned that was really hard and you had to recover from it. I mean, is there in that situation, what was the biggest takeaway that helped you to get through that situation? The biggest advice you would give if someone had similar situation?
Be stupid. Really, literally, be stupid in the sense that everybody else around me were just like, wrap it up here, nice try. But you have to have this sense of optimism and determination that in the face of things that other people would call you stupid, to continue trying, you have to continue trying. I mean, those are the only people that really make it. That's really the big difference between making it as an entrepreneur and not making it. You can't change your mind. You can't, oh, this is too hard. You can't, oh shit, I failed once, so I'm done. You have to accept the fact that this is hard. This is crazy. This is stuff that normal people will not do. And if they try, if you consider yourself normal, quote unquote, because there aren't any normal people, but if you consider yourself that way, not very risk tolerant, you're not going to pick yourself back up after you get slapped about the face and body with those type of expenses, your first rodeo. So that's one example.
I was gonna say you have more though.
Oh God, do I have more? Um, so let me talk about, and then that turned out to be a good deal. So that was fine. That's really when I had my first successes, really second successes, but it was worth it. And what happened on the dark side to get to the bright side. Another scenario for me was a company that I started and I've talked about in the past called Boxlot. And when we started Boxlot, we were competing with eBay. We were about 6 months behind them, and we just could not catch up to them. We had, I think, about $8 million invested into us by a couple of different investment groups. And no matter that we had much better auction platform than eBay, they were just pulling way ahead of us because they were selling water bottles when we were selling fine art and things that we sold a stamp for like $2 million, and meanwhile they were selling a book of stamps for $2. And so it was an arena where the people were going there to get good deals rather than really have a legitimate auction site. And by the time we got to the point where I realized we were never going to catch up to them, I could have folded shop. And it was horrible. We just were not attracting enough people. We were not attracting enough sellers, and we were way, way, way in second place. It was a good give up moment. Instead, I really took a deep dive into the environment we were in and the driving technologies that were making auctions happen in the first place. And the thing that I realized is we were creating some cool stuff to make our auctions happen, stuff that wasn't being used by eBay or Amazon that was doing auctions, or even Yahoo was doing auctions back then. It was the thing to do. So everybody was doing it. And so I stopped really being an auction company and started being a technology company. And we're really focused on the software that would enable auctions to be done in a lot of different ways. The bid now or buy now, reverse bidding, bidding on multiple different things, having reserve bidding so you didn't have to go in mechanically every single time you were going to increase your bid. Our software focused on all those things. And 18 months into our existence, when we should have been dead 6 months earlier, we got a call from a company called InfoSpace. And they have since imploded after that, but they were like the fastest growing company at the time they were public. Their CEO, Naveen John, said they were going to be the first $1 trillion company. And he was off by about 20 years or 10 years anyway. And they said they wanted to buy us for our technology, right? Not for the auction play, but for the underlying technology that would make auctions and other things feasible. And so they brought me and a couple of my executives up to their offices. I sat in this biggest boardroom I'd ever been in my life, facing this blank, biggest whiteboard I'd ever seen in my life. And he walks in and he picks up a marker and says, I don't negotiate. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to write a number on the wall and I'm going to leave. I'll be back in 5 minutes and you can decide whether to accept our offer or not. So he gets up there and he's writing and writing and writing and writing, and he puts the marker down and leaves, and it's $125 million. And I looked to my executives and basically said, do we really have to wait 5 minutes? And we ended up signing an agreement for 125 million. And here's a company that, by all intents and purposes, should have folded up 6 months earlier when we couldn't catch up to the lead company in what we were trying to do. So the point in that is basically, again, stupidity, which is probably, I'm using tongue in cheek for sure, but it really means that when you think you've reached the end of the road, take a real hard look at that road. You know, where are you? Why are you there? What are some other reasons that what you have to offer could be valuable? Don't give up just because you come to a dead end. Take that real bad opportunity, the opportunity where 999 out of 1,000 people quit, and don't be a quitter there. Take a look, figure out what else you can be doing, because from good ideas come great ideas if you allow that idea to blossom instead of not watering it, not tending to it, not taking care of it, and letting it just die on the vine. Okay, that's another story.
I just have to say that one, and Vanessa's like, wow, great story. So that was really good. I haven't heard that side of it. I've heard pieces of it, but thank you for sharing that one too.
Oh, well, you're welcome. You may have a fan on or something, because every time you
Maybe.
kick your audio on, I hear.
I'm gonna try to turn off. It could be the computer that is absolutely overloaded, and hence why we had to start over too.
So, yeah. Well, next time we do it, we'll probably just do it with hand puppets. And
yeah, we'll do hand puppets. It's good. No, so, you've got another story. I'll let you go.
Yeah, let me do another one. Sometimes, if the problem is big enough, and especially if you have enough experience, you can do things that you don't know how the hell you're going to do them. You can say that you're going to create something for customers that are waiting for it, and then figure out how to do it afterwards. And an example of that is Imagine Communications, which was one of the companies that I was the first CEO of. That company, we were in the cable infrastructure, in satellite infrastructure space, and everything was migrating to HD. And for HD, back then, you needed 1.5 megs for one HD signal, and you needed just under 1 meg for a regular standard definition signal. And the cable companies, with their infrastructure, with their cable lines that are fixed and solid, they only can get about a meg of throughput in those. So HD was going to kill the cable industry. And we went to the cable companies and we said, we can fix this. And if you're going to place orders in anticipation, we can build something that's going to save your ass, basically. And they started lining up. Yeah, we want to be involved. We want to contribute. And we started trying to figure out how we could take the throughput that cable companies had, the finite amount of throughput they had, and come up with technologies on either end of those cables that could increase the throughput. Seemingly impossible task. We did it. It took us 9 months to figure it out. We had over 50 engineers, most of them in Israel, except the 2 lead engineers that were with me in San Diego. And we not only increased them 25%, 50%, we quadrupled their throughput. So cable industry that had 1 meg going to a home now had 4, which 4 megs is enough for 2 high definition channels and 1 standard definition channel. We did $20 million that first year because we solved an impossible problem. We said we could do it. We didn't know if we could do it, but we jumped into it and we put all our resources together and came up with a solution. So sometimes when you have what you think is a really good idea and it seems like impossible, as long as you get the resources around you, and again, not giving up, just keep trying to do the impossible, you can get there. That company private today, still imaginecommunications.com. If you see their logo, that was the first logo I ever created, and they're still using it. And that company does about $800 million a year now, and over half of the television households all over the world have Imagine Communications technology. None of them know about Imagine Communications. It's not in your TV set. It's further down the system, but it delivers over $50 billion worth of advertising to households all over the world. And there's something that we created that was impossible, and we made it real. And you do that by, we have a sign downstairs, and it's from Pablo Picasso, and it basically says, if you can imagine it, it's real. And that's how you have to think about your things. Maybe it's not real the first time you imagine it, but you can find a way to get there from your dreams to your realities by never giving up and looking at 50 different ways to try to accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. Focus on what that pain point is that you're trying to solve, and solve it however you can do it, because you identified the pain point. Now identify the solution to that pain point.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Fred. Now, does my audio sound better? Because my computer stopped
Much better.
processing. Okay, so I just have to beat my computer up every now and then. So awesome. Well, thank you so much. I mean, those were some really good examples. I know we would have done a lot more. You had even more to cover, but we're running late today, so I want to make sure we do.
I have another 5 or so. We'll pick them up in some other show.
Yeah.
Actually, more than 5. But even this show, I mean, this was a disaster. And hopefully you guys got some value out of it. You hung in there, you stuck with it. Perhaps some valuable information came your way, which we appreciate. So,
and we had quite a few people who hopped back over. So, you know, we were faced with impossible too. So everything that could go wrong did, but we didn't give up. We got back in, and, you know, don't give up on your dreams, guys. And I know, Fred, thank you so much. We'll see you next Friday, and or maybe we'll see. We have to borrow Fred when we can, because he's very busy doing a lot of things for Idea Pros at the moment. If you guys don't know, actually, Fred, do you want to tell the mission of Idea Pros? Because I don't think you've said it on our Idea Pros shows in a long time. So if you could give us that mission statement.
Oh, well. No, we exist to turn ordinary people into extraordinary entrepreneurs. And the goal is to either change their world or change the world. And so it's a lot of hard work. So we have over 300 entrepreneurs that we work with right now. And everyone is unique. Everyone has their different personalities, their different thresholds for pain and risk. And so we need to manage those. It's a lot of work every day, but it's also very rewarding, because we have many products that are going out as companies, not just a product. And we have a lot of happy entrepreneurs, and we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are working their butts off, but are still, like with me, with the 16 inches of rain all over them, waiting for that damn rain to dry off. But the rain's going to dry off, the sun's going to come, and we're going to work through this together. But also, we should know that, you know, in those last 2 years, we've had over 100,000 applications of people wanting to work with us. And we've put together some very inexpensive programs to address everybody, because before we were only working with people that could actually come and partner with us and do some of the heavy financial lifting that we all have to do in order to go from concept to nationwide launch. But we do have stuff available. I think you can see it on ideapros.com. You can certainly find it on my Instagram, official Fred Carey, as well. The Linktree link there, where you can find those things for about $1,000. We'll teach you how to be a kick-ass entrepreneur, and we'll let you know whether your idea is shitty or great, and not only whether it's great, but exactly what you need to do to be able to take it and turn that into a real product, a real company, a real change in your future.
Yes, and I just put that in the chat for you guys if you did want to check it out. That explains some of the different packages, and there's more to it than just that. Those are two of the options, but I wanted to make sure we have that, and then we have tons of resources on ideapros.com/blog, all of the shows that we've done, and more to come, all the topics. So,
hey, I'm gonna give. Did you put the link for just my show too? I mean, my mentoring courses.
No, you want me to put directly to that? Yeah.
Yeah,
I can.
put one in directly as well, because even if you're partnered with me already, I've had a few partners that have taken that. One guy in particular, Steve is probably here. I hate to keep quoting you, but he said it's life-changing, and it's like $247. I'm going to give you a code for $100 off. It's $147 to change your life. Skip dinner tonight and go get that course. The code is IG, as in Instagram, 100, the number 100, IG 100, $147. There's 15 different modules in it. And whether or not you're going to start a company, or whether you want to have a better life and be a better husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, and mother, son or daughter, you should take it. And if you take it and you don't like it for any reason, you think that I'm full of shit, write to me or write to Tessa, because I don't like Aaron, I'm full of shit. Write to Tessa and I'll give you all your money back. But I think it's something that everybody should do. It's come from my heart. It's raw, unedited. I sat down and started talking, and hopefully you'll find value there.
Yes, so that's the course link. So it's fred.ideapros.com/course. So if you want to get to the discounted one, you just go to that course link, and then IG 100 will get you the discount code. So definitely check it out, guys. I had the pleasure of going through it while I was helping with editing it and creating the back end. And I see so much value in it. And now we've added more things to it. So if you did do a first version of it, there's worksheets and all kinds of things that go with it, homework. And it's gamified. So how fun is that? You get to get points. I know, it's really, actually for me, it's much, much more engaging. It's like, hey, I got points for doing this. I like to get brownie points, pats on the back. So if you need that, you'll love the system.
Guys, the only game I play is solitaire, so everything's exciting.
Yeah. So, well, then thank you guys for being here. Have a lovely weekend. I know it's a holiday weekend. Be safe. We'll see you all next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.